Does anybody have cheaters? Good morning.
Good morning.
How is everybody today? Good, good. We're starting right on the dot. I'm enlisting the support of anyone here who has cheaters they want to loan me. Oh, there you go.
The other side.
I realize. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, play your music, guys. The dress rehearsal's over.
Hugs and handshakes. Little thing, think about what you're trying to do to me. Oh, think about it, let yourself be free. Let's go back, let's go way on way back when I'd even know you couldn't mean too much more than 10. I ain't no psychiatrist, no doctors with degrees, but it don't take too much IQ to see what you're doing to me. You better think about what you're trying to do to me. Whoa, think about it, let yourself be free. Freedom, 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 right now, freedom, 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 oh, freedom, yeah, think about it, you think about it, you ain't been good, you'd ask, I could answer you if I want. I was gonna change, but I'm not, if you keep doing things I don't. You better think about what you're trying to do to me. Whoa, think about it, let yourself be free. People walk around every day playing games and taking the score, trying to make other people lose their minds. Well, be careful you don't use those. You better think about what you're trying to do to me. Whoa, think about it, let yourself be free. You need me like I need you. Without each other, there ain't nothing you can do. Hey, think about it, you think about it. Hey, think about it, you think about it. Hey, think about it, you think about it. Hey, think about it. Oh, yeah. Think about it.
Here we go. One more time.
You better think.
So before we go any further, there's somebody really special here today visiting from Texas who has a happy birthday, and I think we should just sing her happy birthday. Yes, please. 1, 2, 3. Barbara Harrison. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Barbara. Happy birthday to you.
She is probably one of the longest time members of this center. Yeah. Between her and Nancy, they have, and John Sparks, of course, yeah. They have probably 50 years here. Or something like that. Yeah, something. So I just want to welcome you all this morning if you're here for the first time. This is the Granada Hills Center for Spiritual Living, and it is a center where we honor all who are on their spiritual pathway, who practice their beliefs in faith and love. Our call to service is called Lighting the Flames of Faith, and we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from that one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. As Reverend Nancy lights the first candle, it is for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. The third candle we light for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. The fourth candle we light for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. The fifth candle we light for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. The seventh candle we light for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. The ninth candle we light for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. The 10th candle we light for all those who are yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives and for the space that we are holding for them at this center. As Reverend Nancy lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am. Letting fear and worry fall away from me, I open my eyes and I see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
And I feel this love. This place is filled with it. And I do recognize that that infinite intelligence, that which brought life forth itself, is that love. And as I recognize it as being the essence of everything that there is, I realize that it is each and every individualized expression before me. It is everything that has been expressed. It's the ideas, the words, the songs, the music. Every aspect of being is that divine presence saying yes to life. So as we have gathered here this morning to celebrate that idea that the infinite intelligence is ready to feed us one way or another, whether it's through the music and whether through the words that are shared, whatever that it is, we know that we are open and receptive and our hearts say yes. Because we are willing participants in this thing called life. And it's with a glorious sense of appreciation that I stand before you with a divine opportunity to know this truth with you as we say together, and so it is. Good morning, everybody. I'm Nancy Woods. I'm the assistant minister for the center. And I think this is a wonderful opportunity for me because I'm experienced. I always love it when Reverend Mo is, I call her Reverend Mo, Reverend Maureen, is going to share. So I always know that that's going to be a gift of energy. And also, I realize that there's a constant evolvement of this philosophy. And I read the Science of Mind textbook, and, over a few times. We used to joke about who had taken the most classes. But there's something new in each time you read it. But, you know, recently I have really gained a greater appreciation that this really is an infinity thing. This understanding of spirit, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and greater. I was reading something, it was like, everything is spirit, and I think it was the daily read from Holmes. And then it started telling me how I am as spirit itself, where I'm expressing. And then I read something from Rumi, and Rumi gave me another view of everything being spirit. And then I have a little book of prayers from Holmes, and I read it, and it was another book, the expression of it. And I said, okay, this is coming from every angle. And I realized that I too had gained a new understanding, because I used to say, oh, there's only God and it's good. And I felt I was right. But I realized that when it comes to these terms that I'm using here on this earthly plane, it's relative according to who's saying it and wherever you're saying it. But the concept that everything is spirit is the one truth, that truth that is everywhere, everything. And I really got a greater picture of it when I had my nephew, who just got his doctorate in nuclear physics. I'm saying, he looked at me, and he also was a minister by the time he was 16. So he looked at me, and we were talking about how wonderful it was, and he said, "Oh, Nancy, Jupiter is interacting with you right now. The gravity of the universe isn't just an earthly thing. It's a being thing. God is unified." He said, every being on this earth, I can measure the gravity pull on your being right now. And I said, whoa. All of a sudden, earth, everything seemed, just a statement. All of a sudden, everything got bigger. The whole perception of God got bigger. And I realized that all this stuff we are discussing down here about how we are doing it, and it's just discussion. It's word. And life truly is a mirror of what's going on in here. And I can say that in absoluteness, and it does not narrow down the perception of the divine at all. It is. You are a mirror of my consciousness, because how I experience you is according to what's going on inside of me. My perception is painting the picture. And so the shift, if I want a different experience, shift. If I want to change things, think a different way. This is just, it's phenomenal. There is no end to this. We could study this forever, and there would be more to be known. It's like you're taking on something that is so big and so awesome and so infinite in its potential that we can do nothing but let it go and just enjoy this moment of it. Just let it be, because there's no reason to try to put it in any kind of box. Just be here and be now and be who we are. It's just awesome. and thank you for letting me share that.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Please welcome David and Kent in the band today. And we are thrilled, as always, to have our next guest. Please welcome Ms. Angela Carroll Brown. One, two,
You might win a battle, you could win a race, you could outrun your rivals, come in first place. You could lose your center in the push and the shove, or simply surrender and tune into love. Love's not a contest, it's just who we are. Both the light and the shadow are at home in the heart. Beyond the struggle, there's music to play and songs to be singing at the end of the day. Love wins, love wins, all is well in the end. Love wins, love wins, love wins, all is well in the end. Love wins. Love knows no boundaries, it's the light in our eyes, familiar to all, universally prized. There's a world of compassion, and we're good to the end. We could just quit fighting and let love win. Love wins, love wins, all is well in the end. Love wins, love wins, love wins, all is well in the end. Love wins. When we're up against too much to ask, when we lose our resistance at last, and we realize love's got our back, love wins. For everyone, great and small, we are lifted as we fall. Kindness conquers all, love wins. Love wins, love wins, all is well in the end. Love wins, love wins, oh yeah, love wins, all is well in the end. Love wins, new life begins. Love wins. so beautiful. Angela, is that original? No, whose is that? Oh, Jan Garrett. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for that. That was beautiful. Love wins. Wow, sometimes there's times when I wish I could remember that. So, listen, is there anybody here who has never been here before? Okay, Reverend Nancy, right, from Westlake? Yes. You are most welcome here. We're happy to have you. Anybody who hasn't been here in a really long time? Yes, yes, yes. So and Barbara Harrison, happy birthday. I heard them singing to you. So those of you who are coming back with us, you're most welcome, and we're very happy to have you here. I'm going to highlight some announcements, some wonderful things that are going on here in our community that you may or may not be aware of. This is a small community, but we have a lot of wonderful things going on here. So first of all, I want you to be aware that today at 2 o'clock, is it here, Mike? Yeah, in the sanctuary is the Law of Attraction group. That's the Abraham Hicks group. If you haven't studied Abraham, come on, check it out. It's super good stuff. And I'm sure Mike does a wonderful job facilitating that. And next, we have Nancy has extended her Tai Chi classes on Wednesday mornings until September 12th. So I saw pictures of that on the website. I think people are coming and enjoying the Tai Chi with Nancy Shriver. So again, you have a couple of more opportunities to check that out on Wednesday mornings. And we do vision for the center every Wednesday, and the second and fourth Wednesday at 6 p.m., and that will be with Reverend Nancy in Reverend Mike's absence. You know he's in Ireland, so. The bereavement support group will meet next Sunday at 1 o'clock, and that is co-facilitated by Jessica and Kathy Lyons. Kathy was here earlier. Is she here still? No. Okay, and then there. Oh, she is. She's doing vigil. Okay, so starting September 10th, building a healing consciousness. That will be 8 Mondays from 7 probably till 9:30 with Reverend Kathy again and Reverend Jessica. So you can come on and join them for that. And then forgiveness workshop. I think that's Nancy and Suzanne. Is that right, Suzanne? Okay, so that's going to be Saturday, September 15th at 9 in the morning till 1 in the afternoon. So if you have some forgiveness work to do, this is a good place to come do it, right? Safe place. We're not going to judge you. They're not going to judge you. So come check that out. And Roots, the Roots class, Science of Mind class, starting on September 18th for 10 Tuesdays with Reverend Mike. So that's one of our Science of Mind accredited classes that you can take. And Sangha, of course, on Wednesday mornings from 9:30 till noon, starting September 19th. And the theme for this session is coming to our senses. And, oh, okay, so if you're new to this church and to this teaching, and you have wanted to become a member, or you have become a member but have not yet attended the orientation class, we'd like for you to do that. So we have one coming up on October 7th at 12:30. And if you're just interested in learning more about the teaching, then come to the orientation and we will answer all your questions. And we have a concert coming up here on Wednesday, September 12th at 7 o'clock. I want to emphasize that tickets are not available here. We're not selling tickets here. You have to purchase your tickets online. But that looks like it's going to be very cool, yes? And there's something about meeting your bowl mate. Yeah, because isn't that part of it? Yeah, that's part of the... Oh, the next day. Okay, so it's a two-parter, I guess. Paradiso and Rasamayi. So that looks like it's going to be fun. Go online and get your tickets for that. And Reverend Kathy facilitates an animal kinship group. If you are
having any concerns regarding your pets, or you've lost a pet and you're having a lot of grief around it, or anything that you want to come and share with regards to your animals, this is the place to come do it. It's the second Saturday of every month at 1 o'clock. And the second Sunday at 1 o'clock is the healing support group facilitated by practitioner Suzanne, my friend Suzanne Jensen, and that is in the back room coming up on September 9th. And I think that's probably about it. Don't throw away your program. We do recycle them. And I'm running out of steam here. Is that it? Oh, Smile, Amazon. You know, if you buy on, does anybody shop on Amazon besides me? So if you sign up, you can have a portion of what you purchase comes to the church if you arrange to do that at smile.amazon.com. And that, Judy Dunkley, practitioner Judy Dunkley, is the head of our lay pastoral support group. So if you're inclined to want to visit people in the hospital, send cards, anything like that, hook up with Judy and she'll give you an assignment. It's a wonderful way to serve here in our wonderful, wonderful community. And finally, oh, yes, we do still collect food. We have a food bank that goes to the Women's Center at Cal State Northridge. So I just took the basket to my trunk. I'm going to drop off the goods this week, and then we'll fill it up again. Thank you all for your contributions to that. And I think that's the last slide. Am I right, Mike? Yes. Oh.
Would you stand and say the Declaration of Principles with me? We believe in one universal spirit, manifesting through all, natural and incarnated in us. We believe that the universal spirit is personal to and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe that our faith operates upon a law of mind, which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life and the immortality of the individual soul forever expanding. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the givingness of life to all.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Yeah.
a seat, everybody. Good morning again. Hello. Hi, everybody on the live stream today. Turn around and wave at them. All the millions of people who are watching this morning. You never know. That's true. Thank you, Stephanie. Reverend Mike, I'm so pleased that he got to go to Ireland and visit his ancestors, as the saying goes. And if you're friends with him on Facebook, you'll see you can live vicariously through him by the pictures that he's posting. Some of the one with the tomb, I thought, why are you posting a picture of a tomb? You know, that was kind of weird. But he's there visiting his extended family, and he will be gone for a couple of weeks. If you're here for the first time today, come back on September 2nd, and you can hear Reverend Mike. He is an amazing speaker. I take absolutely no credit for that. He did that all by himself, and as I said in the first service, if I take credit for the things that he does well, then I also have to take responsibility for the things he doesn't do so well. And I want no part of that. I want no part of that. I was spiritual director here for 14 and a half years, starting in 1995. And Reverend Paul Braden, Barbara Harrison, Nancy Woods, I think the three of you were on the candidating team that brought me here originally. And Reverend Mike was voted in by acclamation to succeed me as the pastor here. So he's doing a bang-up job. And I would say that even if his wife weren't here. So the Centers for Spiritual Living theme for this month has to do with spiritual mind treatment. And, you know, for some of us, sometimes that's a little bit confusing. Okay. There you go. So the 5 steps of treatment, or as Dr. John Waterhouse wrote in his book, the 5 steps to freedom, which is probably one of the most amazing books on spiritual mind treatment that you'll ever read. If you're confused about it at all, this one will set you straight. And I declared it when I first read it. He sent me an autographed copy, and I was still on the education department for Science of Mind 200, and we put it into the second-year classes because it's that good. It's that good. The 5 steps to freedom are recognition, unification, denial, affirmation, thanksgiving, and release. And here's where I get to thank Michael Duffy for being Johnny on the spot, because however that turned out in the first service, the order was mixed up on the steps of treatment. And I didn't even notice that. But I mean, I did it myself, so it's really hard to get good help, as I say, sometimes. So Reverend Nancy Woods will deal with Thanksgiving and release next week when she gives her talk. And for Thanksgiving and release, the release part is actually surrendering to a greater idea. It's that part of us where we have to give up control over how it's going to show up in our lives. So we have to release it. And that's as important as the first 2 steps of treatment. Recognition is knowing that there is one power, one presence, one divine force in the universe. The unification step is, I am one with that. So there's no sense of separation between those 2 steps, really. And Ernest Holmes says in The Science of Mind that if we master those first 2 steps, recognition and unification, we don't even have to do the other 3 steps. You know, because we have this awareness of the power and presence of God, and that there is God and only God. There isn't God in the devil. There is only the result of embracing these first 2 steps of treatment would allow for whatever the demonstration is that we have an expectation of receiving. So everything that I desire that harms no other person is God ordained. Everything that I desire is God ordained, as long as it harms no other person. And the God of my understanding in the Science of Mind always says yes. However, sometimes God says, Maureen, Yes, you can't have that thing. And you know, I'm so grateful sometimes for someone looking out for me. Otherwise, I'd be married to Harvey Struber, and he got imprisoned for embezzling a whole bunch of money. So there you go. There you go. There, you know, there's an infinite wisdom to the way the universe works in our lives. And sometimes when we don't know better, God does. Do we get that? Yes, we do get that. So unification connects me to the one presence. And that's where I really know that my work is being done in truth, with a capital T. It clarifies that I have all the qualities of God, and yet, contrary to what Dr. James Mellon would say, I am not all of God. That, as Ernest would say, Ernest Holmes says, I am a drop of water in the ocean of consciousness that is God. I contain all the qualities of God, but I am not all of God. So there's some disagreement in that area for some of the ministers. So Ernest believed, as I said, that if we get really, really connected to these first two steps of treatment, that we wouldn't have to really go through the rest of them. But for the purposes of this talk, that's why I'm here. So I get to chat about that a little bit more. So 5 steps of treatment. Okay, come on. Okay. We are looking to give over whatever the problem is to a God who always has a solution in place, because in the mind of God, there are no problems, there is only truth. Now, what's true is that I may be experiencing a temporary health challenge, or the appearance of a health challenge. I may be a little bit short on the money at the end of the month. I may not be in my right and perfect job because I haven't recognized that I don't have to work for the benefits, that I can work and do whatever it is that I love and the money will follow, right? I can also know that that my relationships are right and perfect, because when I'm in right and perfect relationship with myself, everything that is attractive comes into my life from that perspective. That when I have a healthy sense of ego, a healthy self-esteem, then I attract those people into my life who have a healthy sense of ego and a healthy self-esteem. Some of you have heard this before, but it bears repeating. Whenever we are disconnected, and there is an opportunity for us to seek out a practitioner or a minister for spiritual counseling, it is because there's incoherence in our lives. And there are 3 stages to incoherence: frustration, resignation, and cynicism. Now, I want to just tell you, you don't ever want to get to cynicism. You don't. Because that's a dreadful, dreadful place to be. You know, resignation even is like, just so well, you know, go with the flow. Well, at Thousand Oaks High School one day, I drove by and the marquee out in front of Thousand Oaks High School said, "Only dead fish go with the flow." So think about that. Think about that. That would mean that you're totally at the mercy of some idea that says this is the way it's supposed to be. Cynicism would be just being so cynical about life that you only see the worst in everything. So I caution you that when frustration shows up, that's the time for maybe consideration of using a practitioner. That would be the time to begin. Because when I'm frustrated about anything, I have to sit down and get to that place in myself where I know that all's right with the world. And that's where the incoherence is. We cannot be incoherent and lead a God-centered life. It's impossible. It's what Viktor Frankl spoke about in Man's Search for Meaning. You know, it really is when there's incoherence, the meaning is lost. Or at least it may not be lost, but we have given it a secondary position in our lives. We come to a greater awareness of the power and presence of God when we begin our search for meaning in our lives. We want to be relevant. We want to be I'm gonna mix that one up the whole time. Okay, now erase that. Well, I'm going to be relevant. I want to be relevant. I want to have relevance. And I want to feel relevant. That's what the search for meaning is about. Lawrence Vanderpost shared this story. He said the Bushmen in the Kalahari desert talk about two hungers. There is a great hunger and there is a little hunger. The little hunger wants food for the belly, but the great hunger, the greatest hunger of all, is the hunger for meaning. There is ultimately only one thing that makes human beings deeply and profoundly bitter, he says, and that is to have thrust upon them a life without meaning. There is nothing wrong in searching for happiness, but a far more comfort to the soul is something greater than happiness or unhappiness, and that is meaning, because meaning transfigures all. Meaning transforms each one of us. Once what we are doing has meaning for us, it is irrelevant, whether we're happy or unhappy. We are content, and we are not alone in our spirit. We belong. And as I said at the first service, belonging is why everyone is sitting here this morning. A need to belong, a need to have a sense of community, a need for meaning in our lives. Because if we were not seekers, we wouldn't have shown up here in the first place, right? Right. So when he shared this little story, I thought it's relevant to spiritual mind treatment, because spiritual mind treatment gives meaning to our lives. It not only provides freedom for us, but it gives meaning to our lives. So this is where we move into the denial affirmation part of treatment. This is the third step. In class on Wednesday, I spoke to the fact that sometimes affirmations can sound like let's pretend. You know, let's pretend I'm wealthy and financially secure. Great affirmation, right? But what happens when there's more month left at the end of the money? Okay, wait a minute. There's doubt and uncertainty that shows up. Let's pretend I'm in my right and perfect relationship. Again, a great affirmation. I am in my right and perfect relationship. But the man, woman I have chosen doesn't respect or honor the relationship like I would like that person to. And perhaps we've grown apart. What then? Let's pretend I am physically healthy and able to move about freely with no pain. Beautiful affirmation. And yet every day I wake up unable to move and I feel crappy. What next? You know, it takes me 15 minutes just to get off the edge of the bed. I'm reminded of the old Carol Burnett show. They're sitting on the porch rocking, you know, rocking back and forth to get up the impetus to get off the rocking chair. Does simply saying the words do anything really? You know, or just like empty thoughts. Stratton Smith, who was the originator of the 4T Prosperity Program, a program that we used at this center when I first came here, and we used it over and over again. It's the most amazing prosperity program that's based on the 12-step program. He said that the only good about affirmations was in his practice, in this particular program, he had the students repeat 400 times, I am wealthy and financially free. 400 times a day for the whole time, the 12 weeks of the class. Well, 400 times takes about 4 minutes. That's 4 minutes of your whole entire day, 300 minutes that you're not thinking a negative thought, because the brain can't think more than 2 thoughts at once. So it's a good thing in and of itself. But there is something to that. You know, saying affirmations over and over and over again, there is something. It doesn't allow for monkey mind to have free rent in our heads. But who has time for all of that and how long that takes? And even Ernest Holmes says, he wondered about that. He said it's not necessary to spend your entire time in prayer and meditation. Rather, seek to make your work a prayer, your believing an act, your living an art. It is then that the object of your faith will be made visible to you. It is then that you shall kiss the lips of your desire. Love that. Kiss the lips of your desire. That's so visual. I looked it up because he has it in quotes in his quote, but I couldn't find it through the internet. I'll search a little bit more. Oh my God, what a relief. Ernest Holmes even says that. I don't have to spend 40 days and 40 nights in the desert. You know, I don't have to go to the convent or the monastery. I don't have to become reclusive. I can be me on a daily basis and still kiss the lips of my desire and still have what it is that I desire to experience. Phew. I mean, what a relief. You know, for most of us, when we seek out spiritual mind treatment through a practitioner or one of the ministers here, we are looking for relief. We're looking for relief from something that bothers us, something that annoys us, something that irritates us. Well, Gloria Steinem said years and years ago, change is never affected by complacency or contentment. It's only affected by irritation. So if you're irritated, know that something good's on the horizon. If you're confused, know that it's the doorway to understanding. You know, the students who are in my Wednesday night class are hearing all this stuff over again because it's in here. It's so clear to me. It's so clear. So denial and affirmation, what's that all about? First, we deny the condition, whatever that is. And that part of the treatment is more about me as the one treating than it is about the one receiving my prayer. I'm denying the condition because my belief system is compromised when I can't see beyond the condition of the person that is suffering. When my mother was dying, she had triple bypass surgery and had a massive heart attack during the surgery. And so she was in cardiac care. I'll never forget her saying, Maureen, this must be costing at least $100 a day. How are we going to pay for this? You know, and this was in 1990, right? We got the bill. The bill just for the room was $1,200 a day. Just for the room. But I digress. Okay, I digress. I saw my mother laying in that bed, and I couldn't, even as a fairly new practitioner, with all the zeal of a new practitioner, I could not get beyond what I saw on that bed. So we called in the big guns. Dr. Dennis Merritt Jones came and did the treatment for us. My brother was there and my two sisters were there. And my mother was in such a state of agitation. My mother was a knitter, and she was sitting there knitting the whole time. I mean, like 20 hours out of the day, she was knitting. And when I told her that Reverend Dennis at that time, Reverend Dennis was going to pray for her, my mother stopped knitting and put her hands together like this. She was conscious enough to be aware that somebody was praying for her, right? And he did the prayer, and he finished and said, and so it is, amen. She was right back to knitting again, right back to knitting again. But the prayer was not for my mother, because her plight was inevitable. But ours was being able to see beyond death as the end and to see it as maybe a new beginning for my mother. So what is true is that we sometimes have lack and limitation consciousness. But what is the truth is that we live in a benevolent universe. We live in a universe that is abundant and prosperous, and that there are so many different ways to demonstrate that in our lives. God knows nothing about lack and limitation. It is a condition of the human experience, which has consciously or unconsciously come about because of an errant belief system I have as a result of being raised by depression mentality parents. I speak to that truth from my perspective. My parents were depression mentality parents. There was never enough. There never seemed to be enough. There were 5 children in the family, and there just never seemed to be enough. But I picked up on that a little bit. However, prosperity has never been the thing I've come to practice mastery over in my life. It has been for my brother, because he lived through a particularly difficult time with money with my parents when they first moved to California. My 2 sisters, on the other hand, have come here to practice mastery over relationships. They've both been married 4 times, and they've decided they're not doing it anymore. So maybe that's the demonstration in and of itself, right? I mean, like Jerry Maguire was the worst movie for women. You know, You Complete Me. What a joke. What a joke that is. Even you had me at hello. I mean, seriously. So conditions. Conditions. We all have come here to practice mastery over something, whether it's money, relationships, health, or creative expression. You know, are we doing the work that we're passionate about? If we're not doing it, think about it. Think about why that is. And ask an empowering why question. Why is it that I love my job so much? And figure out the answer to it. Or why do I hate my job? Figure out the answer to that and then move on from it. But sometimes we stay too long at the fair, and we stay at a job that no longer serves us. My kid's dad, years and years ago, went every day from Thousand Oaks to Saugus to work. Sometimes on a good day it was an hour. Sometimes on a rainy day it was 2.5 hours. And every day he disliked the people he worked with. They were reducing his benefits. The commute was too long. He really wanted to work for Northrop Grumman that was across the freeway. And I mean, he was just denigrating the job that he had. Imagine his surprise one Friday when he got a pink slip. And you know, not that I ever want to beat anybody with a metaphysical hammer, but I said to him, you know, you created that. He said, well, how can you say that? And I told him a litany of all the things he said about the job that he hated. So we have to be careful about that, you know. The truth is very, very different from what's true for us. The truth is we do live in an abundant, prosperous universe. We do physical health, well-being, emotional health, well-being, spiritual health and well-being is our divine right. That's the truth. To creatively express doing what we love, we know the money's going to follow. And that if I am in right and perfect relationship with myself, then I am in right and perfect relationship with all the rest of the world. Every February 14th, for as long as I've been a minister, I had people stand up and do the vows to themselves. To love, honor, and cherish themselves. Because would I be married to me if I had the chance? The law of attraction says, you know, we attract to us those most like us, and with those with the characteristics that we most dislike about ourselves. That's the good news and the bad news all rolled into one. So, affirmations and denials are for the purpose of vitalizing faith. This is what Ernest Holmes said. For the purpose of converting thought to belief in things spiritual. The foundation for correct mental treatment is perfect God, perfect man, woman, perfect being. Thought must be organized to fit this premise. We must keep our faith vital in order to successfully treat for ourselves and for others. So here's the deal. Sometimes I am in a loving and generous relationship is a hard nut to swallow. You know, I'm not. But the idea that it could possibly happen, we might want to change it to, I am willing to have a loving and generous relationship. I am willing to be financially independent. I am willing to work at the right and perfect job. And I am willing to experience radiant good health. That's priming the pump. Priming the pump for the inevitability of the truth of these words. Because if, as the one being prayed for, you believe this with all your heart and soul, and you deeply subjectify this, this is the demonstration you can expect. Ernest Holmes was a smart man. He was a very smart man. So the efficacy of spiritual mind treatment is that it changes the consciousness of the one praying. It also changes the consciousness of the one receiving the prayer to the degree that that person is receptive and believes in the power of prayer. There is a clue in here as to when and how spiritual mind treatment works. Let me just show this to you. Spiritual mind treatment, well, get this, because this is really, really important this morning. Spiritual mind treatment changes the consciousness of the one praying. It also changes the consciousness of the one receiving the prayer to the degree that that person is receptive and believes in the prayer. So how much do we believe? How much are we willing to set aside any old thought patterns that we might have that no longer serve us and live from this new place in consciousness? Oh my gosh, all of us here, right here in this moment, right now. You know, when I came to this teaching, I was totally nowhere. And now I am now here. It's a whole different concept. You know, my belief system has changed, although I came here recognizing that this teaching was what I had already thought. And when Dr. Earl Barnum said to me that very first Sunday in Canoga Park, when he said to me, "You may not believe everything you hear today, but you may hear something that you already believe," I kept coming back and coming back and coming back. To the degree that the person is receptive and believes in the prayer, that's the extent to which one demonstrates. So, years ago, when my dad died of AIDS from a tainted blood transfusion, and so many of my friends in the late 80s and early 90s were dying of HIV, I thought that if I just prayed harder, more, and with greater emotion, that they wouldn't die. I mean, I seriously, as a new practitioner, I thought that was my job. I was filled with this incredible sadness because I felt I'd let people down. But you know, in the end, you may not quite get this today, but Ernest Holmes is very clear about this, is that in some cases, death is the ultimate healing. There's no more suffering. There's no more pain. There's no more anxiety. There's no more fear. And so there's that incredible release, just like when someone dives into a body of water, that clear ocean of consciousness, and everything is let go. Everything's let go. I had to realize that it's not up to me what the outcome is. It's up to God. How is up to God. And based on what I was trying to do, I was trying to control it and manipulate it. I was trying to make it my way. Well, doing it my way is only a commercial you hear on TV. You know, it is God's way as to how life shows up for us. But we have to lay the groundwork for that to happen. I have to know what it is that I don't want first, so that I can know what I do want. There's such relief in this idea of giving over responsibility for what I'm feeling to a practitioner or to one of the ministers here. From the book of the prayers in the back of the Science of Mind, my most favorite of all is this one. You know, people stop halfway through the Science of Mind text. They don't read the teachings of Jesus. They don't read these beautiful prayers that Ernest Holmes wrote that are in the back. And this one is called I Keep the Promise. I want us to read this together this morning as I close it out. I shall keep the promise I have made to myself. I shall never again tell myself that I am poor, sick, weak, nor unhappy. I shall not lie to myself anymore, but shall daily speak the truth to my inner soul, telling it that it is wonderful and marvelous, that it is one with the great cause of all life, truth, power, and action. I shall whisper these things into my soul until it breaks forth into songs of joy with the realization of its limitless possibilities. I shall assure my soul that there are limitless possibilities for each one of us here this morning. I mean, maybe your imagination is greater than the imagination of the person sitting next to you or behind you or in front of you. But I can imagine for you only the absolute best life possible, knowing that it is all we need to know, because the great hunger will always be relieved, that when we know with God, all things are possible. And so it is.
Right now, we would like to pay tribute to Aretha Franklin.
1, 2, 3.
Hang on to the world as it spins around. Just don't let the spin get you down. Things are moving fast. Hold on tight and you will last. Keep your self-respect, unending pride. Get yourself in gear, keep your stride. Never mind your fears. Brighter days will soon be here. Take it from me, someday we'll all be free. Keep on walking tall. Hold your head up high. Aim your dreams right up to the sky. Yeah. Sing your greatest song. And you keep going, growing strong, yeah. Take it from me someday we'll all be free. Oh, just wait and see, someday we'll all be free. Oh, yeah. Oh, take it from me, someday we'll all be free. Oh, yes, we will.
Well, you guys really know how to sing and play. I love being here. I love being here with you all today. It's such a pleasure to come back home. It feels like a family reunion of sorts, being here today. So this is our time of conscious giving. Did I get that right? Yes. It's a little out of practice on the order of service, but if you'll hold your gift in your hand and repeat after me the affirmation, divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of this center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. All right, sing it, guys.
Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit gives through us, Spirit receives through us, Spirit lives and breathes through us. Spirit lives and breathes through us.
All right, and the gifts that have been given generously and joyfully this morning are gifts that go forward to prosper and to bless this ministry in grand and glorious ways. And by giving, it is a testimony to that great universal idea that money is God in action. Money is God in action. And so this morning I know that whatever gift has been given, whether it is through service, in the form of anyone who is here in service to this center this morning, or by the money that was put in the basket this morning, it goes forth to do its good work in grand and glorious ways, knowing that service is its own reward, and that this giving consciousness of this congregation helps to support this ministry in moving forward in ever greater and greater ways. And so today, I just simply know that God is good. God has blessed us by your presence here this morning and your gifts in the basket too. And so it is from this place in consciousness that I gratefully receive and give thanks on behalf of everyone here, knowing that God is in the mix, all is well, as we say together, and so it is. So the children are coming in, yes. Beautiful children, beautiful adults with children inside them. Good morning. Who's speaking on behalf of the kids today? Two different groups? I'm stuck. You have to come to me. Come on over here. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm feeling good.
I can see that. I can see that. Tell us who you are.
My name's Akira.
Akira is growing up right before our very eyes, right?
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. What happened for you this morning in class?
Oh,
Yes, a lot of writing I can see.
yes.
Yes. And what was that all about?
We did the 5 steps of treatment.
Really? I hope you got them in the right order. I didn't get them in the right order the first service. Yes.
I got them in the right order.
I'm glad. Then you had an excellent teacher, right?
Yes.
Yes, good. Good. And how's that going to work for you from now on?
Well,
You'll be able to do it yourself,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Well, that's good, Akira. Thank you for sharing.
Okay.
And, yes. Hi, tell us your name.
My name is Ari.
Ari, and you learned today?
We made all these mandalas.
Mandalas, yes. You have some work to do to finish yours.
Yeah.
Yes. You can do that in your own time. And what does a mandala represent for you?
Well, it's kind of like when it's like when you're meditating.
Yes. There you go.
It's like you can do this, and it can help you calm down,
Yes.
not be stressed out. It's like to get your energy back on.
That's excellent. That everybody here needs to know how to do that, right? Thank you. Thank you, Ari. Thank you. So, thank you to the teachers of our children today. Wonderful teachers here. For those of you who want to know about the Tai Chi, this is Nancy Shriver. If you want to ask her any questions about it, please contact her, because I know nothing. All right. Reverend Nancy is going to pray us out here this morning, so thank you all for being here. Yes.
And can we thank Reverend Maureen for offering her service to us? So as the practitioners surround this room in love, and the guest practitioners too, and if you have someone that you want to place in this circle of love, we would like for you to place them in it. And know with us that the words that we offer are the words that the divine has poured through us as we realize that we have been given the richness of this tool of knowing the truth, announcing the truth through treatment. So we recognize that that infinite intelligence is working through us. And it is the essence of what we are. And knowing this is knowing that the power and the ability to create anew is constantly within our grasp. So today we reach for whatever it is that we need to demonstrate, whether it's creativity, financial abundance, health, love, that which we are seeking, that is the heart's desire. We are able to embrace it and have it our own way of experiencing and expressing the divine. So with these truths and the law that is constantly saying yes to the word that we place into it, we say we are grateful and we appreciate this together, and we go forth to demonstrate it, and we let it be so by saying, and so it is.
Please stand for the peace song. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin. Thank